Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. So in today's case, I'm going to talk about Devin and Damon Routier's murder and the controversy of their mother being innocent or guilty for their murder. There is definitely a complete divide between people who think that she's 100% guilty, belongs on death row, and then there's those who believe that she's 100% innocent, doesn't belong on death row, would never have hurt her children, and deserves another trial. But I will say that there is so much. I'm talking about a huge amount of contradicting information from pretty much everyone. So it's kind of hard to pick out who's actually telling the truth and who's not. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning. When 15-year-old high schooler Darlie went into Sizzler's restaurant in Texas, her mother had set up a meeting between her daughter, who had recently moved out of her father's home in Pennsylvania, and a handsome assistant manager named Devin Routier. Although he was only 17, he was a hard worker and very mature for his age. The two went out on their first date that night and were inseparable from that day forward. Devin and Darlie were married in August 1988. Devin Routier was the couple's first kid, who was born on June 14, 1989. It's said that Devin loved to play little jokes on everyone. He was a little comedian. He was a great swimmer and loved to be in the water. He also loved playing video games and loved music. Their second son was Damon Routier. He was born on February 19, 1991. It's said that Damien loved to play outside, goof off, and was always laughing. As their family grew, so did Darian's computer-related business, and the family moved into a wealthy area in Texas. Life was going very well for the Routiers, and they celebrated their success by surrounding themselves with expensive items such as Jaguars, expensive furnishing, jewelry, fur coats, and much more. After a few years of living a wealthy lifestyle, Darren's business began to falter, and with that became financial problems for the couple. Rumors began, and it was said that the couple's relationship was in trouble, and there was talk of extramarital affairs. Friends said Darlie was obsessed with her appearance and reportedly had little to no patience for her children. Despite the rumors, on October 18, 1995, the couple had their third child, named Drake. It's said that Darlie started to experience postpartum depression. On June 6, 1999, Darren and Drake, who was 7 months old at the time, were upstairs asleep, while Darlie and the two older boys, Devin, who was 6, and Damon, who was 5, were sleeping downstairs in the living room because it was much cooler. Darlie woke up to find her sons had been stabbed, and she noticed an intruder escaping out through the kitchen. Darlie shouted to Darian, who was asleep. Darren ran downstairs into the family room, where all he saw was blood-soaked bodies of his two boys and his wife. Darlie had called 911 at 2:31 a.m. At that moment, that's when Darlie noticed that she had been sliced with a knife. Darren couldn't do anything for Devin. He was gone. But Damien was still alive and struggling to breathe, so he gave Damien CPR. The police showed up and secured the area. They found a cut screen in a window in a garage, which could have been an entryway. Other than that, there was little to no evidence at all of an intruder. Devin was stabbed twice in the chest, with such force that the knife almost went all the way through his little body. Damon was stabbed half a dozen times, or more, in the back. Damon was rushed to the hospital, but neither boy survived. Darlie was held for 2 days at the hospital with mostly superficial wounds, but a slice across her throat. Doctor says she survived only because the knife stopped 2 millimeters short of her carotid artery. Darlie told the police that she had fallen asleep on the couch with her two boys while watching television, only to wake up later and discover an unknown man in her house. She stated that she had approached him and the man fled. Police found it highly suspicious that Routier and her son had been severely wounded by an armed intruder without waking her until after the attack had occurred. Routier had told the police that the assailants escaped through the garage. Investigators said that the garage contained no blood drops and added that no one had run through the garage at all. The window sills of the garage had been untouched with layers of dust, including the window that had been cut, implying that no one had actually climbed through it. And the mulch in the flower bed between the garage and the backyard gate was undisturbed. However, an unknown fingerprint was found on the windowsill that did not belong to anyone in the home. 75 yards away from the house, a bloody sock was discovered. Lab tests revealed it had blood from Damon and Devin on it. Newscasters showed Routier and the other family members holding a birthday party at the boy's grave 8 days after the murders to celebrate Devin's 7th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
They sprayed silly string, which took maybe 20 seconds. They sang happy birthday.
Love you, Devin and Damon. Happy birthday.
just like they're still there.
Why the confetti? Why the balloons? Why the happy birthday song?
Well, because even though we're sad because Devin and Damon aren't here, we try to hang on to what we can to get us through these times.
And I recall...
I tell you, as a parent, I found it disgusting.
She was smiling and chewing gum, spraying the silly string around, and just as a mother, I thought, that's just not appropriate. I mean, what's going on?
Family members pointed out that the newscast did not show an earlier video of a ceremony honoring the children. 12 days after Damien and Devin's death, the police arrested Darlie for their murders. They had no eyewitnesses, no confessions, and no motive. Darlie's trial began on January 6, 1997. The prosecution suggested that Routier murdered her sons because of the family's financial difficulties, and described Darlie as a pampered, materialistic person. With debt and little money in the bank, she feared that her lavish lifestyle was about to end. The prosecution also suggested that there was a financial motive for the murders since both boys had life insurance policies on them, but the defense contended that this amount was only $10,000, and that's not even enough to pay for the funeral expenses. Furthermore, they asked as to why, if she was willing to murder for money, then why didn't she kill her husband instead, which had an $800,000 life insurance policy. On February 1st, Routier was convicted of murdering her children and was sentenced to death by lethal injection. In June 2011, Darren Routier filed divorce from his wife, saying that the decision was mutual and very difficult, in that he still believes his wife is innocent. He said that they decided to divorce to end the limbo that they had been in since her arrest and conviction. Darlie Routier, who is now 51, has spent the last 24 years on death row. She has always maintained her innocence and has claimed the boys were killed by an intruder. Devin loved his little brother Damon so much and always wanted to be by his side and protect him. They are buried together and will remain that way for eternity. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, bye.